Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Katelyn, and today we are jumping on the Pokemon hype train because the new Sword and Shield just came out. I just bought the game. I have not played it yet as of recording this video, but I really love Pokemon. I grew up playing it. I played Red version. I also was super into Crystal and Silver and Ruby and Emerald, all the games. I've always really liked Pokemon. I mean, if you've been on the channel for a while, you've seen a couple of my Poke Fusion things and just probably my influence from Pokemon in general, but I wanted to do something special for the new Pokemon game. So there's currently a trend going on Twitter where people are basically taking a picture of themselves and combining them with different Pokemon to make them like a gym leader. So I thought I would expand on that idea and draw myself as a gym leader with my top 3 Pokemon. I do have a lot of favorite Pokemon, so this was a hard decision, and I'm not doing the conventional flying type or water type gym leader. I have kind of a different qualification for what type of gym leader I am. So instead, I'm much more of a big, horny, dragon-like gym leader. That's how it is. Maybe not horny. Maybe that's gonna be misconstrued. I'm gonna think of another one. What about big spine boy leaders? Big spiny boy? Nope, horny? Okay. Fine, I'll just keep it. So I guess you could say I'm more of a big, horny dragon leader. That was really hard to say, guys, because it's ridiculous. But you guys know, I love horns, I love spines, I love dragon-like creatures. So of course, these 3 are probably some of my top favorite. We got Garchomp, Charizard, and Feraligatr. I absolutely love these guys. I love their designs, and I knew that I had to make them my top 3. Plus, it would make me a pretty hard gym leader to beat because I have a ground dragon, a fire type, and a water type. I have quite a mix of things, so you'd have to be ready with a couple of different Pokemon to be able to beat me. I mean, there's a couple things I could think of that you could easily wipe the floor with these, but whatever. I would still be a tough gym leader to beat, I'm just gonna say it. So today I'm gonna draw myself as a gym leader with my 3 favorite Pokemon. You guys have known I've drawn myself as a trainer in the past for my Poke Fusions, but I'm just gonna imagine this is future Katelyn when she's done her full Pokemon quest. She's an accomplished gym leader and has her shit together. And so I'm gonna kind of take some inspiration from the costumes or not costume, but the clothes that I wear to design and influence my gym leader's clothes. And then of course incorporate my 3 favorite boys into this as well. So let's go ahead and get some sketching going. First, we're gonna kind of brainstorm what I would look like as a gym leader, and then we will expand into the bigger drawing with myself with my 3 favorite boys. Let's get started. Alright, so we finished the rough sketch for my gym leader persona, and I'm really liking where this is going. First of all, I have this black denim Gryffindor jacket that I wear all the time. It is my consistent go-to jacket, so I knew I had to incorporate it somehow, but I thought we could expand on it even more and have like cool spines and spikes with it, and maybe make the buttons look more like spines or teeth. I thought that'd be super cool. I also really love wearing ripped jeans, so I thought that'd be a really nice addition to this. I'm really looking more like punk rocky, and I love this look. I don't really have a full wardrobe to like piece it all together, but I'm slowly getting there. I want to look like this one day, just like super cool and punky, and I just love it. And then I really love boots, and I found these ones with like cool little spikes, and I was like, let's just go all in with the spike horny boy combo thing and just make my outfit totally adorned with spikes and spines. And it works out really well. Like, the only thing I'm missing is adding horns to myself, but I'm like, nah, I think I'm gonna keep me pretty neutral in like the hat zone. I do wear hats sometimes, but I just like how this looks overall. I don't feel I need to add a hat or anything to it. So I think I'm gonna run with this look. So I'm gonna go ahead and convert this and put this with my 3 top Pokemon and do a really cool, like, intimidating pose, like if you were to walk into my gym, being like, yo, look at my big scaly boys. And I'm so excited. Like, I'm really excited to put this all together and have myself among my favorite big boys. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump in and get that started, and I will see you guys in a bit. So yep, now with my outfit figured out and out of the way, it was time to jump in and actually finish this piece. So, first of all, I struggled a little bit with how I wanted to structure this drawing, because I kind of had the idea of it was either the scene of like when you enter the gym at first and you see the gym leader like maybe standing on a cool like altar or some type of base somewhere. And I honestly, I got a little bit lazy on the background. I do like how it looks right now. Like when we get to the end, you'll see I messed with it some more, but it was a kind of a combination of I ran out of time because I wanted to finish up this video and this piece, and then just also I didn't feel like drawing a full rendered background. It was a mix of things, but I knew that I wanted to have the idea of like being in this really cool, maybe like darker lit gym and coming upon me at the end, like after battling all of these other trainers that have like maybe dragon types or other scaly creatures. After going through and battling them and finally getting to the end of the gym, you're met with this really dark, kind of intimidating room with me and these 3 really big dragon reptilian creatures. I thought that'd be super cool, and I would love that for my gym. I just want to scare the crap out of trainers when they turn the corner, you know, and see what they're going against, these big intimidating lizard things. And that's kind of what I was going for, just the idea of me standing there with these big boys in a dark room. So with that in mind, I was trying to figure out the pose. Like, I was like, do I want it to be kind of stagnant in a way, or did I want some movement? What did I want? And I kind of decided on the magical anime gust of wind, I guess, like kind of when a character is just standing there and out of nowhere there's like a very well-timed gust of wind. So I added that to like my jacket to give a little bit of movement and life, and I just tried to give all of my Pokemon kind of these bigger, broader, intimidating poses and just really show like how big and massive they are. Also, side note, because I'm gonna address it now, I did look up the size of all the creatures. So first off, I am 5'8". That's how tall I am. And I saw that most Charizards are 5'2", like 5'1", 5'2", somewhere in that range. But to my defense, I'm going off of also in the Pokemon show, God, I forgot what island it was, but the Charizards in there were huge. Like, the Charizard that Ash had was ginormous. Like, I think Ash at most was like 5, oh man, I'm gonna probably get this wrong, 5 foot something as well, and his Charizard like towered over him. So I'm just gonna say that my Charizard's a little bit taller than 5'8", probably with its neck hunched over. It's like right about at my height. So let's say like probably like the 5'11", maybe 6 foot range-ish is what I'm thinking for my Charizard. And then I found out Feraligatr is like 7 foot something. I was like, whoa, that's crazy tall. And I didn't know if it was 7 foot based off of like the crest on its head, like the the red like mohawk crest going on. I didn't know if that's where the 7-foot line was drawn, or it was just literally when it stands up straight, it's 7 feet tall. But either way, he's a huge Pokemon compared to Garchomp and Charizard. Well, I mean, especially Charizard. I think if I remember correctly, Garchomp was like a 6'5" Pokemon. Like, he was in the 6-foot range, if I remember correctly, but Feraligatr was the biggest out of the 3 that was gonna be there. And after I found that out, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have so much fun just drawing this big, bulky, intimidating guy with like these larger, broad forearms and just making this really big and cool Feraligatr. I think he's honestly the favorite part of this piece. Like, Charizard's my favorite and like my favorite Pokemon in general, but God, I really just love how Feraligatr turned out in this one. I think he looks really dope, and I just love his look overall. And he looks really big and intimidating, and I had a lot of fun just drawing those bigger, bulkier arms. It was just a really, really fun time. And I really enjoyed doing this Pokemon piece. We're gonna have to see, I'm talking about it a little bit at the end, but we're gonna have to see what the FTC and COPPA rulings are for YouTube, because even though you could argue that art isn't just for kids, I am drawing children's characters, and yeah, there's a potential of getting sued if I claim that it's not kids content and then it ends up being kids content, and I'd like to avoid that, so we might need to limit the kids content in the future depending on how it all goes. But I hope I can still draw Pokemon, because Pokemon are so fun. Like, I'm thinking about opening up commissions here pretty soon in the near future, like maybe after December, sometime in January. I'd love to open some commissions and do some Pokemon trainers. If you guys are interested in a commission, you're welcome to email me. I kind of do them as I get them basis, depending on how much work they will be. But if you guys would like a Pokemon trainer, I'd totally be down to do a commission. So yeah, go ahead and shoot me an email or a message from my website, KatelynMcCaigue.com, and we can see if I can do a cool Pokemon commission for you, because I love drawing them, and they're just super fun, and I would love an excuse to keep drawing really sick and awesome Pokemon with some really cool looking trainers. I think that'd be really fun, and probably the most fun I would have with the commission in general. Like, that's probably the most fun thing I could pick to draw for commissions. And now, after I finished the line art, it was time to jump in and do the coloring. So I did a slightly different coloring idea for this one. I wanted to, like I said, I wanted this to be like a darker room for these characters to be set in. And Charizard has the flame on the end of his tail, so I was kind of imagining. Wow, I just combined two words that I didn't mean to combine. I was just imagining it illuminating, that's what I was gonna say, the characters just based off of that flame tail. And I honestly was going back and forth between if that would be the only light source or if I wanted a light source from somewhere else in the room. And I kind of struggled with it here and there in how I wanted to just light the piece in general. So you'll see a little bit of back and forth as I color, but I did end up making the main light source the fire on the end of the tail, and I combined it with kind of more of a cell shading approach with just chunks of the color, not really airbrushy look, just very cell shaded comic book style. And then I did go back also and do a little bit more airbrushing when it came to lighting from the flame. I thought it would look really cool that way, and it does end up looking super dope. I did do some cell shading for like the highlights. I added some like brighter yellow lines to like really show where the light was hitting it the hardest. And then later on I do go in and do that softer airbrush effect to erase away the dark parts and, you know, make it make it pop and make it look like that fire is really lighting up these characters. And I was also super happy. I went back and forth on Charizard's coloring because I love the shiny Charizard. The black and the red is super cool, but I also love orange. Like, orange is one of my favorite colors, so I had a tough time picking which Charizard coloring I wanted to do. I ended up picking the orange for a couple of reasons. One, we already had Garchomp that's in the purplish ranges, and just to have another dark colored dragon, it didn't really add as much variety to the piece as I wanted. And second, I knew that my costume was going to be in the darker tones. It was going to be the blacks and the reds and the oranges and things like that, probably mostly the black, so I had a feeling I was going to blend in against this Charizard. So I was like, you know, I love the orange one. I'm completely content with having an orange Charizard, so that's what I went with. I know that I did a lot of back and forth on if I wanted to have a shiny Charizard or regular Charizard. Just shiny is so cool. It's so like edgy looking with the black and the red. It just, it looks so dope. But I think this turned out better because we have a nice contrast and different color to all the Pokemon. Like, they don't all fall in the same color palette. And it's just, I don't know, I think it looks really nice to have like the orange and then to the blue and then to the purple. I just love the transition of the Pokemon colors, and I didn't even mean for that to happen. It just kind of worked. It's just like this really bright, like orangey yellow to this brightish, cool blue, and then right into the really cool, darker purple. I think it just worked out really well that way, and I love their posing too. It just, I thought I was gonna put Garchomp to the other side of me at first. That's what I was kind of planning. I was like, all right, me and Charizard will be in the middle, Feraligatr will be on one side and Garchomp on the other, but I'm glad that I moved Garchomp over because it just turned out better. Like, compositionally, I feel this works a lot better, and then I didn't really have to like hide like parts of the Pokemon to make them fit, you know? I didn't have to figure out, okay, well, Garchomp has to be much further behind to hide behind Feraligatr if he's on the left, things like that. It worked out a lot better in this composition in general, and I just absolutely love it. I would also assume that with these guys, like, just to build some lore with gym leader stuff, like, for sure I would be that gym leader or that trainer that started maybe more in the first game regions. I got my Charizard. I don't know what city I'm from. I'd love to hear what you guys think. If you have a certain Pokemon city that you think my character could originate from, I'd love to hear it down in the comments below. But at least for me, I assume that Charmander would be my first starter because, like I said, this is my favorite starter and my favorite final evolution as well. So I have a feeling I would start somewhere in the first region and then get a Charmander, and then from there move on to get my Totodile, and then on the way I'd pick up oh no, I can't remember what the first one to Garchomp is. Oh, I'm a terrible Pokemon fan. It's just completely escaped my brain, but that's kind of what I think. But I'd love to hear what you guys would think. Like, what would the I guess path of Gym Leader Katelyn be? Like, I'd love to hear what your ideas of a cool story would be, or what you think about where my origins would be. And maybe, like, who would be my Pokemon mentor? I mean, we obviously have, like, the Dragon Gym Leaders, and probably Gym Leaders that would fit closer to the Pokemon I picked, but I'd love to hear what you guys think on, like, if there's someone in particular that you're like, oh yeah, if Katelyn was to have a Gym Leader mentor, it would be this person. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. I know that's a lot of questions, but I can't wait to see what you guys say. All right, and we are all done with this Pokemon piece, and I absolutely love how this turned out. It was super fun to draw myself as like this kind of epic trainer character with all of my big favorite Scaly boys, and it was just so much fun. If you guys would like to pick up the Photoshop file for this to see how I did all my layers and all the effects that I applied to this, go over to my Patreon. It's going to be the Photoshop file of the month. And I hope you guys like this. I don't know how many Pokemon videos I'm going to be able to do in the future because of the new regulations with the FTC and everything, but you know, I'm going to try making them as long as I can, but this one was super fun to do, and I'm really hoping I get to do more Pokemon videos in the future. So thanks again, guys, so much for stopping by and checking out this video, and if you aren't already, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I have new videos every week, and if you would like to pick up the Photoshop file of the month, make sure to go check out my Patreon. And then one last thing before I go, I'd love to hear what you guys would be if you were a gym leader. What type of Pokemon would you rule as a gym leader, or what would your top 3 Pokemon be for your gym leader team? I'd love to hear it in the comments down below. So thanks again, guys, so much for stopping by, and I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.